Hello, this is the Vietnam Social News Update for October 8, 2025. Date of news coverage: October 8, 2025. Politics. Vietnam's political arena is being shaped by sweeping institutional reforms and the evolving role of its leadership. Early this year, the Communist Party initiated one of its boldest reorganizations in decades, officially eliminating the district level of local government and merging provincial and commune units. This restructuring is intended to streamline bureaucracy, reduce overlap, and reinforce the principle that locals decide, locals do, locals take responsibility. Many observers see it as part of General Secretary To Lem's broader vision to modernize party governance and boost administrative efficiency. But reform carries risks. Critics warn that consolidating power into fewer layers could weaken checks and local responsiveness. As new units take shape, questions linger about how resources, oversight, and accountability will be rebalanced. Meanwhile, the party continues efforts to professionalize its leadership ranks, removing underperforming cadres, incentivizing merit, and focusing on digital transformation as a tool to both monitor and manage governance. Another current dynamic is Vietnam's cautious embrace of digital assets. While the state remains wary of speculative risks, the ongoing adoption of fintech platforms and crypto experimentation suggests that political leadership is open to exploring new financial frontiers, so long as oversight is maintained. All of this signals that Vietnam is trying to position itself as a capable, modern state, even while preserving its one-party structure and centralized control. Economy. Now, let's move to the economy. Vietnam's economic performance continues to defy expectations. In the third quarter of 2025, GDP expanded by 8.22% year-on-year, marking the strongest quarterly growth outside post-pandemic rebound years in more than a decade. Despite the U.S. imposing a 20% tariff on Vietnamese exports in August, the trade sector remained resilient, and the economy registered a trade surplus of $16.8 billion over the first 9 months. Total trade turnover climbed past $680 billion, and industrial output and construction activity showed double-digit growth, especially in manufacturing and processing. Faced with external pressures, the central bank has made growth its priority. It projects credit expansion of 19% to 20% for 2025 and is pushing banks to reduce interest rates. At the same time, it insists on tighter control of lending to high-risk sectors to prevent bubbles and non-performing loan accumulation. The government's growth target for the year has been raised to 8.3% to 8.5%, signaling confidence in navigating both internal and external headwinds. One of the most significant developments for financial markets is Vietnam's upgrade by FTSE Russell from frontier status to emerging market status. This reclassification, expected to become effective in late 2026, pending interim review, is expected to unlock billions in foreign capital inflows, deepen liquidity, and enhance Vietnam's appeal to global investors. The stock market responded immediately. Benchmarks hit record highs on the news, reflecting confidence in Vietnam's reform trajectory and financial integration. Society and culture. Next, in society and culture, Vietnam's cultural sector continues to ride a wave of creative revival and symbolic projects. A blockbuster film, Red Rain, set during the 1972 Battle of Quang Tri, has become the highest-grossing Vietnamese movie of all time. Its cinematic scale, historical resonance, and emotional storytelling resonated widely, attracting over 8 million viewers during its run. The film has also been selected as Vietnam's entry for Best International Feature Film at the Academy Awards, reflecting ambitions to project Vietnam's stories on the global stage. On the societal front, the country faces yet another natural disaster. Torrential rains linked to Typhoon Matmo have triggered floods and landslides in northern provinces. At least 8 lives have been lost, and thousands of homes damaged or submerged. The government swiftly approved emergency aid and deployed rescue operations, particularly in Cao Bang, Thanh Hoa, Thanh Nguyen, and Bac Ninh. The episode is another reminder of Vietnam's vulnerability to climate extremes and the urgency of resilience investments in infrastructure and disaster preparedness. Meanwhile, Vietnam's creative diplomacy is deepening. The Decade of Culture for Sustainable Development initiative is gaining traction, not just as a branding exercise, but as a structural pillar for tourism, heritage preservation, and digital culture. Cultural festivals abroad and Vietnam Days programs seek to amplify soft power, while domestically, cities like Hoi An, Hue, and Hanoi are rethinking how heritage and local communities coexist. The cultural sector is no longer an afterthought. It is becoming integral to national identity and future growth. International relations. Finally, in international relations, Vietnam's foreign policy continues a careful balancing act, maintaining ties with traditional socialist partners while expanding pragmatic engagement across the Indo-Pacific. The upcoming visit of Party General Secretary To Lam to North Korea is deeply symbolic, reaffirming ideological solidarity, even as economic connections with Pyongyang remain modest. The trip also sends a message to both domestic and foreign audiences that Vietnam values its historical alliances even while diversifying outward. At the same time, Vietnam is strengthening partnerships with ambitious new investors. During recent forums, agreements have been signed with Saudi Arabia in sectors like infrastructure, tourism, and human resources, evidence that Vietnam is actively courting non-traditional capital sources. On the global financial stage, the FTSE upgrade cements Vietnam's move toward globalization, and officials are already preparing similar bids to join MSCI's emerging market benchmark by 2030. Regionally, Vietnam continues to engage actively with ASEAN neighbors, maintain strategic partnerships with China, Japan, South Korea, and preserve a strong relationship with the United States, especially in trade and security. While great power competition intensifies in Southeast Asia, Vietnam's diplomatic posture remains one of nimble neutrality, engaged, not aligned, balancing sovereignty, connectivity, economic ambition, and regional stability. Thank you for listening to the Vietnam Social News Update. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and see you again tomorrow. This news summary is based on publicly available reports and rewritten uniquely for Vietnam Social News. VietnamNews.com is the official web address of Vietnam Social News. We are an independent platform, not affiliated with Vietnam News Agency or any government-owned media outlet.